Uh, Hello and welcome to the Looming Dread, a 13th Age adventure. Uh, a tiny recap. The group has made their way to the port city of Eldolin, known for the three magical schools that are upon its grounds, and all of them seeking a person that has gone missing in that area. Some of these people having either kind of a personal connection to the player or more, more kind of, particularly connected to one of the icons that they serve, and all of them seemingly kind of vanishing around the area of Eldolind, piquing the interest of the icons for what is going on down there. And so they were all kind of sent, by these separate icons to kind of find them. And so they made their way to Hawker Square, just as like a point of reference, except for Zure's character, who was there to meet with a person of their own. But it was during that time where a cart was tipped over, and out of nowhere, undead poured into the marketplace and started attacking the Silver Shield guards, the people that protect the city. And so the group had to fight against these undead. And so an investigation begins. Nanaka, introduce yourself. Who are you? Who are you playing?
Hello, Nanoka here. So I'm playing the Forgeborn Wizard. Although I seem to have a bit of a problem with my token, and he's accompanied by his armor golem Tiberius, which I need to fix because now there's two Tiberius here. Yep.
Uh-oh. Yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Something did happen.
Yeah.
What happened
The
here?
token is wrong for some reason.
Huh. That is
Yep.
super weird.
Indeed.
I'm gonna duplicate you real quick, just see if that. Yeah, it must be. I wonder if it's something here.
Weird.
I know that's very, very weird. As we are working on that. Ooh, I think I see one. Because it says it has your name as Tiberius.
Yep. I'm not sure.
While we are doing that, Zen, introduce yourself. Who are you and who are you playing?
Yeah, I'm Zen. I'm playing Ruvir Calyx, the Wood Elf cleric. Had to think about my class for a second there.
It's fine. And for right now, as we're still kind of waiting on our fourth player, Zure, who are you and who are you playing?
Hey everyone, Zuri, I'm playing Celestel Rose, a spy within the Nightmare Lord's court. That's pretty much what I got. No questions, Dave?
I couldn't really think of a good question. There we go.
Fair enough.
Okay, I think I got it. And with that, we'll shift over to the normal screen, and I'm gonna put on some music. Let's see. We want a good. Do we want? Let's go with Dawn Slide. Give a soft little bit of music there. There we go. You all find yourselves at one of the essentially not a particular fancy kind of inn. Ruvir, what is the name of this inn, and what is it famous for?
Give me 1 second, and I will find out.
Okay. Also, while we're doing that, you can also roll icons if you wish.
It is the Quaint Lavender Inn.
The Quaint Lavender Inn. Ooh, I like that. And what is it famous? What is it famous for?
They do lavender infused mead downstairs.
Ooh. Indeed, it's known for that kind of lavenderous smell and just the hint of the flower itself in the brew. Is like a lavender infused ale like a very popular thing in like the Elven Court?
Maybe. Depends who you ask, I think. I think they'd probably argue about it.
Once every couple centuries or so, probably, it comes around.
Yeah. I guess it depends on, like... Because usually, with, like, the Elven Court, it's, like, whoever is, like, holding the seats of power at the time, it kind of, like... It depends on, like, who's in vogue, I guess.
Yeah.
With that, Silas, how do you wake yourself up this morning? Because this is about, I would say, like, this is essentially the morning after everything that happened at the Hawker's Square.
I would suspect Salas never sleeps very deeply. Can't do that when you're in the Nightmare Court. That's asking for a dagger in your back. So better to be safe than sorry. I imagine he had a few lines of bells and stuff to alert him if anybody tried to get into the room. So he'd start by disabling those and kind of, scout at the hallway a little bit, make sure there's nobody in it, and check that his companions are starting to wake up before heading downstairs.
Okay. So are you heading out the door?
Yeah, once I finish disabling my traps.
Mm-hmm. As you open the door, you see a familiar face kind of sitting at a table.
Sorry, just thinking. I'm trying to get into character here a little bit. We've been off a week, so it takes a moment here.
No, it's fine.
Funny, I thought I was just dreaming, and yet here you are.
Well, I hope it was a pleasant dream. And she kind of chuckles a bit, and as she chuckles, you see her kind of wince a little bit, and you see her kind of grabbing, like, at her side where her ribs are.
Less nightmares than previously, let's say.
She kind of nods a bit at that and says, I don't disagree with you there. I don't know how you managed in that place.
We do what we must.
She nods at that.
Any signs of followers?
She goes, no, as far as I could tell, most people here believe me to be that Golden Eyes.
Imagine he'd offer a slight nod to that, and then he'd kind of lock eyes with her before kind of glancing around the immediate area. I have big news. This needs to go straight to the court, though.
You'll see her ears kind of perk a bit as she kind of scooches over a bit. She goes, "Very much so, I would assume."
Can you arrange a meeting with one of the one of the Elven court to meet with me?
She she kind of puts like the gloved kind of hand across her chin a bit, thinking about it, and she goes, "I will certainly try my best to do so. It might take some time, what with the courts being on the Isle and all of that. Dangerous waters, but I can try to get a message there as soon as I can." And she she goes, "And I have a little bit of information for you too." And she kind of slips you this document that is engraved with a kind of a wax.
I imagine he'd flip it over and scan it very quickly.
Essentially, it is reports of Knoll activity in the kind of like the outer regions of Elderland, and the court believes that it could be connected either to the Nightmare Lord, or it could be related to a rogue druid, and that to possibly, you might have to eliminate that as a threat, as they're kind of attacking. They're attacking caravans and such, and they're making it quite difficult for the court to move their products and such around.
I suspect Silas be drumming his fingers along the desktop, kind of one at a time, and say, "Knowles, really? I feel like he's done better than that before. He usually doesn't touch such base creatures."
She goes, "Yes, but if... Gnolls are essentially creatures for hire, aren't they? They work with any icon if it provides them with enough gold for it."
You're not wrong. I just thought he was a little bit better than that, if anything.
She goes,
Is this an order from the court then, or just to investigate?
She goes, "I think they just want you to investigate to see if the Nightmare Lord is involved with it. But if it's just to see if it is something that they should get involved with. Right now, there are some very tense situations. They have been attempting to..."
Hey.
Hello, Mega.
Hey, Mega.
She goes, "The court has been attempting to speak with the Scaled Legion in the jungles to try and establish a better kind of agreements between them, and it's been going quite sour lately. So they've been focused more on those things, and things closer to them than here in the human lands."
Concerning. I'll make note of it and see if we can fit it into our other investigations today.
She nods a bit and she says, "If I could suggest, perhaps ingratiate yourself with the captain of the guard. What was his name? Perels, I think? He could be a good ally in keeping and getting tabs on that undead and perhaps anything else. I'm sure that you could squeeze them for proper assistance if need be."
I have no doubt. As for you, make sure you switch up your disguise. Obviously, that one's been compromised.
She nods a bit and she goes, "The court asked me to impersonate her because she was attempting to establish things with the schools. And she went missing. That's why they wanted you to come here to look for her. But they asked me to impersonate her for a while just to make sure nothing seemed suspect.
Maintain the status quo, of course. Yes.
She nods a bit, and she'll kind of get up as she kind of hears the sounds of, like, not just your party, but other kind of customers kind of rustling from their beds, and she'll go, I think it's time that I leave. And you'll see her kind of shift the hair a little bit, gets kind of like shorter. Her figure becomes a bit more leaner, looks more but the eyes are kind of like the same, and she just goes, she just says to you, Silas, do be careful. I know that your time with the Lord's, the Nightmare Lord's estate may have skewed a few things for you, but again, just keep yourself safe.
Likewise.
And with that, you'll see her kind of move from the seat, and she'll kind of slip out through like a window, and she'll kind of go, Ruvir, and everyone else, what are you doing? How are you getting up?
Ruvir would be doing his normal prayers late into the night, and then right in the morning as the moon comes up, or the moon comes down.
Mas would be tinkering with the wreckage of Tiberius, which who I just remember is kind of supposed to be exploded.
Right.
It's like I got to repair this.
Yeah, like you collected all the like the pieces, and you kind of worked on it through the night, just kind of like fixing parts here and there. It'll still take a little bit before he's before I would say he's like 100%, 100% ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Does Tiberius doesn't talk, right? He's just kind of like salute. He just kind of like pantomimes, right?
Actually, no. He does talk, but is not like a very humanoid kind of talking. It's like one word or grunts, or maybe 2 words if he's feeling spicy.
Okay. You'll see him, like the kind of the remnants of it. You kind of got one of his arms kind of going, so it just kind of like creakily kind of comes up, and it kind of waves like bye to you, like see you later.
Thank you for your concern, Tiberius. I'll be back to fix you up in a jiffy.
The head just kind of creakily nods a little bit as it just kind of sits there at like at the end of the bed.
All right, be good then.
Okay.
And yep.
Raphael, what about you?
I'm just not quite sure about the context of the scene.
Essentially, this is the morning after the attack in the square, the undead and all that. You were all the captain of the guard kind of told you guys to kind of get some rest, and that you guys could help investigate in the morning or contact him to kind of like figure out what they know or what have you.
Because in the morning he'd be probably just looking after his equipment, sharpening his sword, banging out any word here.
Okay.
Like sharpening his sword, but he dents in his shield, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just slowly and almost ritually.
Okay. I like it. I like it. And Silas, as you're kind of contemplating everything that was spoken to you so far, you see you'll kind of hear from the bottom. You'll see a human kind of bringing up some kind of breakfast, like some kind of simple breakfast meal. So there's like eggs, like a little bit of like cured ham. There is some very soft breads and some of the kind of lavender infused ales as compliments from the from Sergeant Perels of the Silver Shields. And there is essentially enough for the four of you.
He would basically examine it for poison before he does anything else, and then he would probably eat but not drink any of the wine. He has work to do today. He can't be imbibed or whatnot.
Okay. And Ruvir and Raphael, if after you guys have kind of like done your the things that you were kind of doing in your rooms, kind of fixing yourselves up, that's when you would kind of come out and see everyone else at this like table with a nice amount of foods and drink to start the day. And as you, as I'm assuming that you would all just kind of sit, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, you all kind of sit, and as you guys are kind of eating, you kind of go over what you learned so far. You learned that there at the square there was a vendor named Rumney who told you that he knows who owned the pumpkin cart that was kind of blocking the road during the attack. And I believe that's the one you said you guys wanted to investigate first, I think.
We voted, and I don't remember what it was now.
If I let me find it. I think it was that. Let me look at the Discord.
Romney and the Pumpkin Cart by 2. Yeah, that's the one.
Yep. Yeah, and you also learned that you also learned about the Commons and also White Rose, who owns like a mission where some of the zombies were people that had been there, and that another person was a halfling named Rollo, whose friend had been buried in the Dead Vaults in the church district of Elderland. So those were the three, kind of leads that you had learned about so far. And so with the one about the pumpkin cart, after you all kind of finish your breakfast, let's see. I believe there would be like a silver shield kind of downstairs as well. So if you wanted to ask them about the dwarf Rumney, you could probably ask them, and they would probably give you like a little bit of information about him.
What do you guys think?
It seems like a good lead.
Okay, so you guys are gonna go check out Rumney.
Yep, that's the plan.
Okay, so you guys kind of finish up, and you head to Hawker Square, which is where Rumney would be. And you see, of course, a few places at Hawker Square has been kind of like cordoned off due to the investigations. A few of the various kind of tented mercantile and merchant places have been kind of like closed up shop. But Rumney is there, and you see him attempting to sell these. They look like little kind of puppets, and he kind of waves his hand a little bit, and you watch them performing little dances and little skits. And there are many different types of puppets. There are ones that look like humans, elves. There's some dwarves. You find one that looks like a little green furry thing.
Interesting.
Is there like a goblin or something?
There's one that looks like a knight in dark armor. There's one that looks like a half orc, and he's got like a billowing kind of red cape. And you just see one that just looks like a normal dude, just kind of a little bit shorter. And so as you all kind of come into the square, Rumney will kind of wave to you a bit as he's trying to kind of sell some of his wares to a few people, and they just kind of observe some of his material, and they just kind of leave, and he just kind of sighs a bit.
So sorry, I missed a second. He's selling puppets?
Yes, he's selling little puppets, and he essentially has put runic magic on them so that way they can move by themselves.
Yeah, so I probably can't afford that, actually. Never mind.
So, which of you is going to speak to him first? He is his beard is kind of braided with these kind of green stone beads, and as you see him kind of putting the puppets away, you can kind of see from his hands that they are incredibly calloused and rough, that they almost look like they're made of stone.
So I'm just reading through my notes to remember what the Rumney lead actually was.
The Rumney lead was about the cart that had tipped over, that had kind of blocked the road. He said that he knew the person who owned the cart.
And the cart had that pumpkin monster in it.
Yeah, the pumpkin zombie.
Well, I guess I'll walk up and You know, I said, I say, good sir, wonderful show you have there. But if I may I ask you just a simple question about the events of yesterday?
Rumney he'll kind of like nod his head a little bit, and he'll go. He'll go. You see him kind of like scruffle his beard a little bit, and he goes. I'd be right glad to tell you. And he'll just go, but he goes, my memory can be a bit foggy lately. He kind of like a little bit, and you see him kind of like coughing towards some of his puppets.
Of course, good sir. How about this one? And I pick the green fuzzy creature.
He goes, yeah, it's a mighty fine one. That is, I believe someone claimed that it was a star child, a creature from the stars, I believe. Though I've never seen one myself.
Ah, yes, creatures of magic. Indeed. This will definitely be of interest to some people I know. Yes, I'll take this then.
Okay, he goes, it's 2 gold.
Alright, and I drop to go into his hand then.
Okay, he'll kind of smile at that, and you'll see him kind of put it into his pocket, and he'll go. Okay, so you want to know about the cart, right?
It's correct, good sir.
He goes, the cart belonged to my friend Pazarius. He's a merchant in the saddle where I live. The saddle is a place where basically merchants and crafters, it's particularly those who have a talent for magic, kind of reside in. And he'll go. He goes, I don't recognize the robed fellows that had used it, but again, the cart and particularly the mule that was with the cart, that was my friend Pizarius's. He owns a small stable and a general store near my shop. I know the mule. He kind of says sheepishly because it bit me one time. Though I think she's quite a bit more friendly these days.
Lovely. So, has he been interested in pumpkins recently or something?
He goes, I could not tell you about the pumpkins, honestly. He deals with a lot of different kind of like goods, general things of that nature.
Okay then.
And he goes,
thank you for your time.
He kind of nods a bit, and he goes, Speaking of the cart, the robed men who drove it into the square, their robes looked very close to some of those. Kind of rolls his eyes a bit. Those wizard students. They always cause trouble here in Elderland. I don't know why the mayor doesn't attempt to rein those schools in line.
Unfortunate. That certainly pulls down the reputation of the career.
He kind of nods a bit at that. Does anyone else want to kind of talk to him to kind of learn a little bit more about what happened, or at least his witnessing of events?
I don't do talk good, so probably not a great idea for me.
Okay.
Does any one of us do talk good? I have 12 charisma.
I would assume Silas does, but I don't know.
I would assume.
Actually, I
would
think
assume-
Salas would have been focusing actually on whether he's lying or not at this point or hiding anything. Can I check that specifically?
Sure. You could. I think that would be like a wisdom kind of checking and
I agree.
background. I think Raphael, being a paladin, I think he would be good at asking him questions. Excuse me. You get the impression, Silas, that he isn't lying. Like he is saying that the car did belong to his friend, and it's like maybe there's like a little bit more that he just needs to be you kind of need to get out of him to kind of add a little bit more to what he's saying. But it doesn't seem like he's lying to you, or at least like being obtuse about what he's saying to you.
So I'll just confirm that he's not intentionally lying, but he may be hiding something. Is the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah, it's you might just like he might have a little bit more information for you. It's just that you just kind of have to bring it up to him. Because
So Salas's shoes would be clicking across the stones as he walks up to the man, and Salas is fairly tall. He's not like excessively tall. He's kind of just average height as far as a human would go.
Mm-hmm.
But this guy is a gnome, I'm assuming, right?
No, he is a dwarf.
He's a dwarf? Okay, so he'd probably still be a bit higher than him.
Yeah.
But imagine as he leans down, his eyes begin to change. The guy, as he kind of meets this guy's eyes, they grow maybe more reptilian for a second or cat-like. And he would say, "You're not telling us everything. I suggest you do so."
Romney kind of like sweats a little bit. He goes, "Honestly, I am telling you the truth. I mean, like I said, the cart belonged to my friend. The robed guys who had the cart, all I know is that they looked pretty human. You know, they weren't short like a dwarf, and they certainly weren't thin enough to be elves or something. They just purposely stopped the mule right at the entrance and blocked everything, so no one could get to my stuff. So I was kind of a little mad about that, and then they just tipped it over and just left the cart there."
You noticed something. What was it?
He says, "The robes looked..." He kind of goes, "The robes, like I said, they looked a bit like what those wizard students wear. It's like, maybe they were like a grayish silver or like a kind of a dark color. Not sure. Sometimes the wizard clothes look all the same to me. Look, if you talk to my friend Pizzarius, I think he might be able to know. Obviously, someone had to have bought his cart and his mule."
Where's Pizzarius?
He goes, "In the saddle that next to my shop is. If you want, I can show you. It's like the Hawker Squares looking rather." He kind of pauses a little bit as if he doesn't kind of want to say. He's like kind of dead at the moment, and he kind of maybe in bad taste because of what happened yesterday. But he'll kind of lead you. He'll kind of pack.
I'll follow.
Yeah, he'll pack up his things and he'll lead you towards his shop, and you'll see. Let me just grab it really quick. Where did I put it? You'll see, like, again, this little shop, and you'll see kind of puppets and stone kind of like art kind of being sold in the windows, and right across from him it looks to be like a little bit like a general store sort of thing, but it looks like closed and kind of locked, like it hasn't opened yet. You'll see yeah, I couldn't get a good thing for it, so
It's fine.
You'll see Rumney kind of go to the door, and he'll kind of knock, and he'll say, "Pizzarius, are you in there?" And he'll kind of look in the window just to see if anybody's in there. He goes, Bizarius! And he, like, kind of knocks on the door, and you hear a, Go away! We are closed! Bizarius, it's me, Rumney. Are you seriously not gonna let me in? It's like, there is no Bizarius here. He's gone on vacation. And he just kind of looks to you and he kind of quirks a brow. He's like, apparently he's on vacation. Kind of like knocks again, like more aggressively. He's like, Bizarius! It's like, Bizarius, he's not here! Go home, Rumney! God damn it! And you'll just hear kind of like rustling here and there inside of the shop. He'll kind of look to you all and say, maybe you can get him to open the door. You seem to have a more authority than I would.
I'm gonna lockpick the door right in front of this guy.
Okay. Are you gonna do it very quickly, or are you gonna do it expertly?
And this guy's moving around in there. I'm gonna do it quickly.
Okay. So yeah.
You just to confirm, check for that.
Yeah, just I would say a dex and a background for it.
Okay.
I'll give it to you. It's not a very complex lock. So I would say a DC 10 is fine. So you would pass it. It's not, like I said, not very complex.
I wasn't expecting much.
So yes,
Are these dice supposed to be basically a black shadow, or is my force glitching out a little?
I think it looks like stained glass.
Oh, mine? Yeah, I took a specific look for them. I'll roll another one so you can see it. But yeah, they're partly see-through.
Yeah.
You can't even see the numbers.
Yeah, so it's not loading right for you then, because it's white numbers.
Okay, yeah. It's not
Okay.
loading right.
Yeah, you might want to just pop out and okay. So yeah, you click it open, and you open the door with a nice creak, and you see. Let me grab him here. In this very super huge representation of his store, it is filled with different types of things. He has this kind of silvery, kind of blonde hair, and he has like these bright blue eyes that are kind of obscured by these very heavy goggles, and he kind of has a scar on his like right cheek. He goes, welcome to Pazirius's Rain's shop. I'm Pazirius. I didn't know you guys were interested in any of my goods. My apologies, gentlemen.
I'd push Rumney inside, and then I'd get them all to filter in and close the door behind us.
Yeah, Rumney, as Rumney kind of comes in as well, he goes, Pazirius. Like, what? Disappearing everywhere. What is going on, man? You act as if you're about to be arrested by the guard or something. You'll see him kind of sit in like this chair, and he'll kind of bring out like this handkerchief, and he'll kind of like wipe his face a bit. He goes, it's like, oh, Rumney, I'm terribly sorry, but I thought if I could just keep everything locked down, and looked like we were closed for a while, and I had gone on business, maybe wait till the heat of it dies down, if you will. He kind of looks at you all a little bit, rather nervously. It's like, I was just scared. And Rumney kind of looks at all of you and says, well, these guys there, I don't think they're with the guards. They seem to be independent adventurer types, I think. He kind of just sits next to next to Pezarius, and he goes, just tell him what happened. You know, it's like, that was your cart and your mule, right? And he goes, yes, that was Daisy, all right. Is she all right, Rumney? He goes, yeah, as far as I know, the guards took her in, but as far as I know, you could go and get her if you wanted to. And he'll just kind of nod a little bit at that. You see him kind of like easing up a little bit at like at this, and if any of you want to kind of ask him anything about the cart or what have you, you should be able to ask him any questions. He seems like he's kind of like relented in attempting to I wouldn't say escape, but try to avoid responsibility, I would say.
Anyone? Really? Who bought the cart?
He goes, excuse me. Goodness. Hold on, let me. Okay. He says, he goes, well, the cart was bought by a human named Grayson. He goes, I want to say, I guess it would be like a day or so before everything happened. A man, this Grayson, he came to my shop and he made an offer to buy the mule, the cart, and he goes, well, funnily enough, a farmer friend of mine, he traded his pumpkins for some equipment, and I was looking for a vendor to buy them, so I was like, well, you know, maybe I can be lucky. He agreed to buy everything for 35 gold. I mean, it seemed, overly high, but, I mean, at that price, I mean, I'm not going to ask a person his business.
What else can you tell us about them?
Well, they wore kind of like labor clothes, but, I mean, honestly, his hands didn't look like the hands, like a guy who worked, like a laborer. They not calloused enough. And I heard him mention something. He was talking to someone outside as he was leaving, and they said something about the old brewery. And I thought it was a bit odd, him saying that, because, well, everyone from the city knows that the brewery, the old brewery, is vacant and haunted. So I don't, of course, I didn't want to really, pry, if you will, being that, the gentleman just gave me 35 gold pieces. Business, right? And he kind of looks to you all, and he goes, please don't speak of my involvement in any of this mess, please. As far as you know, my poor Daisy and cart were absconded with by some ne'er-do-wells.
Depends if you can tell us anything useful.
He goes, the old brewery is not useful?
It's not enough. They were wearing robes when they set up this whole thing. Where did they get those?
The pumpkins? Or what are you trying to...
Well, they were in wizard robes, were they not?
Yes.
Yeah.
He goes...
Distinguishing features, anything you saw on them that can be traced to them. Was it just this single fellow? Because it seemed he had a partner.
He goes, well, he kind of thinks a little bit, and he goes, I think he had a brass chain around his neck. It looked familiar, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, it could have been from one of the schools. A lot of the schools kind of wear like a symbol, but all I really know is that it was like a brass chain around his neck.
Can you point us to this brewery that's haunted, supposedly?
He kind of awkwardly kind of nods a bit at that.
DM, can I see if he's hiding anything too? This character's paranoid, so expect this a lot.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Let's see. I'm gonna change the music a little bit. Ooh, a 23. He is genuinely telling you the truth. He is not lying. He legitimately did get paid 35 gold for a man named Grayson who had clothes of a laborer, but hands were not calloused, who had a gold, kind of like a brass chain around his neck, and that the old brewery is definitely, at least in his mind, haunted, vacant and haunted.
Let me see the coins he gave you.
He kind of goes to like a drawer and kind of pulls out the gold from it, and he kind of plops it on the table.
I'm going to just take them out, check for, mint dates, see if it's any sort of coin that would come from a specific icon or region, stuff like that.
Okay. The minting of it looks like it is the gold that the humans have. So on it has the depiction of like the ivory throne on it. And it says, in the year of the Imperial Majesty Zarin Drakovin, which is he is the current ruler of the
Emperor?
Ivory Throne. Yeah, he's the current emperor.
Okay. And they're all similar? They're not like mismatched or anything like that? They're all fairly similar dating and everything?
They are all similar dated.
I'll check them for... Actually, I'll pass it to Mask and ask if he can detect any sort of auras or magic on them. Because it's possible if this was belonging to a wizard, there might be something lingering on it that can give us a hint of what school or which... what was the word? Which...
school of
house or whatever they were belonging to. That's what I was trying to get out of it.
Okay. Okay, Mask. Silas just gave you some gold and asked you to kind of detect magic on it.
I mean, he's the one in the wizard hat. If anybody can do it, it should be him.
All right. Should I make like an intelligence and wizard roll then?
Sure.
Donk. Oops. I'm having.
You do. Hold on. You do have an icon. I think you could use it to re-roll that, or kind of shift it up if you want.
What was that usage? +5 or something?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, so I'll use my Elven Court, I guess, and like think back on some of the magic training I've gotten in the court and just add 5 to this, I guess.
Sure. With that, excuse me. As you kind of touch the coins and you kind of, tap into a little bit of like that wizarding magic to kind of like feel the aura of it. The aura of it is it's kind of faint. And it doesn't seem like there's like a particular like school of magic. It just seems like whoever had this bag of gold seems that they were just like a more kind of like eclectic kind of wizard. They just kind of learned various kind of things like spells or like magic here and there. They didn't really like focus on one school of magic.
Was that related to one of the houses we know about? One that was more general?
Let me check the schools real quick.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to remember. It's been 2 weeks, and I remember we had quite a bit of information on each one. I just don't remember what was relevant anymore.
No, it's fine.
The blue guys did evocation. The silver robes were artificers, and the gray with black stitching did stealth and illusions.
Yeah.
So out of those, it sounds to me like the artificers would be the most likely, if that was the case, because they probably use all sorts of magic in their stuff.
Oh yeah, I want to ask, were they wearing the robes when he saw them as well? Because Rumney didn't see what their robes looked like.
Well, all that like Pazarias saw was just like this Grayson fellow just wore like laborer's clothes.
Okay.
So, from as far as you know, and from Silas's thing, he's telling the truth. Like, this person did not wear like a wizard's robe or anything like that. You look, he just didn't have like the hands of a laborer. Like, his hands were not calloused enough to be like someone who does hard labor.
The brass disc they mentioned, is that enough to help us clue in on any of them, or are they all brass discs just with different designs?
Yeah, like the wizard schools, they all have like a brass chain, because the I say 3 schools, they all like basically think of it as like a giant. It's like Hogwarts. Basically, it's this one large school, but there's 3 different like school like campuses in this area that teach like certain magics. They all do have brass chains that have like a particular symbol. So, for example, like the one that does Otterfeising, for example, their symbol is like, the little cogs. So, like, if you're like a student of that particular school of magic, you would have that as like the symbol on your robe, and like a brass chain with that symbol as well.
And just to confirm, what is Pazarius' shop? Like, what does he actually do?
It is... Let me go back to him. It is indeed a general store. It is a general store, but he does most of his business hiring out wagons and mules from... he has like a small stable next to his building for various kind of construction projects, or if someone's needs to take some things to like a neighboring town or like that sort of thing. They rent out his horse, his mules and his carts, for example, or they buy them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Salas would again start walking closer to him and say, "Listen, Pazarius, we're trying to handle this and handle it as quickly as possible. We can potentially do that, and we can keep your name out of it if you can give us enough to go off of. Now, you're telling me you noticed they had a brass chain and you didn't look close enough to see what it showed?"
He goes, "Yes. The fellow didn't really quite stay to chat with me. He just said he'd buy, Daisy and the cart and the pumpkins, and he paid 35 gold. I mean, I was more concerned with the gold than what he was, anything else that he was wearing." It's like, you have to understand with the city. It's he kind of looks at Rumney a little bit and he goes, wizard students or magic users in general, they're always, some of them get into weird things. It's like, I'm not a wizard. I don't know what they do in those campuses. so long as you you don't bother my business, and they, I stay out of theirs, that's fine, right? You kind of like,
See, I would say they bothered your business, or we wouldn't be here now, would we? You're not hiding anything, because they give you 35 gold, are you?
he goes, no. And you see him, kind of like shrinking away a little bit, and but he again, he's just saying, look, I've told you everything that I know, and I'm simply begging you. And he kind of looks to Romney and he goes, I'm simply begging you, please do not say about, that this Grayson fellow buying my cart and my mule. I don't want to be involved with any of that stuff. My stuff was absconded with some ne'er-do-wells, and those ne'er-do-wells are the ones responsible for what happened. He's like, please, this shop is all I have. Rumney, my friend, is all I have, and maybe I was a bit blinded by the amount of gold. I mean, I hardly ever... It's like, could you blame a man who's never seen that much gold in his lifetime just to buy a mule, a cart, and some pumpkins? Are you really going to judge a person like that?
Silas will step back for a moment as if like kind of considering him, but he's going to look to the others and see if they want to push for any more out of this guy or not.
Ruvier's gonna kind of say, make sure you don't go on a vacation until we come back.
He goes, right, yes, don't worry, I don't think I'll be going anywhere anytime soon. And you can kind of tell that he's slightly relieved, but also at the same time he's also very he just seems like he's far more worried about just the whole thing in general. Like he did not think that he would be involved in any kind of like business like this.
Fair. I'll get a general description on the human then. So you said human, man, that was about it, right? Can we get hair color, general appearance? We need a bit more than that.
Sure. He says that the gentleman had kind of like straight black hair. He had kind of like he had black eyes that I wouldn't necessarily say like cruel, but certainly not like a very welcoming kind of like face. Very stern.
Approximate age?
He would say probably in his like late 30s into maybe like his 40s, but definitely like 35, like 35 to like 38. So not a young fellow.
That was my questions. You guys have anything?
No, I'm good.
Raphael and Mask?
Yeah, I'm good. I have done my magic detection, and yeah, I think you found out
Okay.
that information.
What about you, Raphael? Is there anything you want to ask him or have any questions on?
Draco, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, but not really, no.
Okay. All right, then I imagine we'll close things up here, make a note of where this is, and we're gonna go try to find this barn.
Okay, so Pazarius will kind of lead you all to the old brewery. And as Rumley will kind of accompany him just as like a means of, trust and safety, if you will. And as, excuse me. As you're kind of walking from the saddles, you begin to head towards a little bit, a bit of ways, towards the docks. As Eldolin is a port city, and as you kind of walking towards the old brewery, Rumney kind of gives you like a very brief history of the old brewery. He goes, "Well, the brewery was used to be a primary distillery and ale maker for a group of dwarves known as the Ale Masters. I think it was established right about the time, or a little bit after the town's founding, if you will. But it suited, the dwarves. It suited us, of course. But the demand for the Hammerblow Stout, which was the very popular ale that the ale masters made, and strong liquors quickly, they outpaced the brewery." And he kind of goes, "That, and there were quite a few accidents stemming from the workers, and to kind of get everything, kind of distribute everything, a lot of corners were cut. And so the city basically forced the ale masters to build a much larger and safer brewery in the commons." He says, "Now it's nowadays it's been abandoned. Some people say that the old brewery was used by the ale masters to continue making kind of strange experimental brews, but he kind of shakes his head a little bit and he goes, no one quite knows, but apparently an accident had happened, and it was so bad it was just closed down completely. And now everyone says that it's haunted."
An accident at the brewery? What, did their wheat explode? Their wheat explode or something?
He goes, "Well, no, not necessarily." He goes, "A lot of drunkenness. So, people falling from, kind of the walkways, and, people accidentally, getting, arms and such caught in the kind of the mixing tools and things of that nature." He goes. He kind of shrugs a little bit. He's like, "I've never been a brewer, so I don't know everything that is done. But they just, accidents. That's what everyone in town, kind of rumors about in here and there." And I'm going to activate the old brewery. And indeed, you do see a. Excuse me. You do indeed see a brewery. And I'm going to put on. Let's put on this one. City Intrigue. That sounds like a good sound for that. The brewery, as you can see, it is. Despite the picture's look, it is very, very dark. There are broken kind of windows here and there. The large kind of smokestacks where the distillery kind of like smoke would kind of come out from looks to have been long disused. Pazarius and Rumney, they both tell you that that's all, that they showed you where it is, but they are not going anywhere near it due to the hauntings, and that they just tell you good luck, and they both return. They both return to their houses.
So is it mostly boarded up, or is it actually like what it looks in the picture?
No, it is very much boarded up. There are like boarded up windows here. There's obviously some here. The door is you see like a heavy the wooden doors that enter in for like wagons. It's locked on. It looks like there's like a heavy chain and padlock on it.
I'm gonna do a quick scouter on the outside, kind of stealthing my way around it, just looking for any entrances it looks like would be used more than others. Like not a lot of dust in front of it, stuff like that, to see if anybody's been going in and out and where, if so.
Okay. What about everyone else?
Let me look at my dexterity real quick.
Okay.
I guess I'm gonna just wait around until
I'll wait to see
we all
what Silas
see.
sees.
Yep.
I'll wait to see what Silas sees, or to see if I have to knock some doors down.
Okay, so yeah, Raphael and Mask, you both kind of like just stand there, just trying to look inconspicuous.
In my massive black armor.
Yeah, in your massive black armor and the metallic wizard.
Yeah.
You both kind of make like awkward kind of small talk about I don't know, what kind of awkward small talk would you two have as Ruvir and Silas are kind of doing their thing?
So, what's your favorite beer? What's your favorite beer, Raphael?
My favorite what?
Beer, alcoholic beverages. Alcoholic beverages.
Yes. Oh, I don't drink.
Ah, yes, of course. As a member, as a paladin, I suppose I should have expected that.
Mixing necromantic powers and drunkenness, that's not in well.
Of course. Now, as for me, I prefer the strong, hearty taste of a dwarven stout. But I suppose there's a bit of an acquired taste for anyone who isn't a dwarf.
I would not know.
I love it. The camera just kind of lingers on that as it kind of shifts over to Silas and Ruvir as you guys are kind of scouting ahead, kind of looking around, doing that sweet investigation. It's like inside of your minds, you hear like the sounds of a noir detective, like narration kind of going through your minds.
Yeah, are we going around the same way, or are we going around each side separately?
Let's go separately. That way we can find something different. Maybe you're spot something.
Okay. Do you want wisdom, DM?
Sure. Or like wisdom or like intelligence. If like intelligence, I would say like intelligence.
You're asking the cleric if he wants to use intelligence. Got it.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I mean, maybe, but no.
Oof, poor
The dice do what they want.
That is very true. Ruvir, due to your time being a huntsman of the Eldrathir, you're quite used to. Would you say more for like as a huntsman? Are you like is that for like tracking and hunting animals, or is it for something else?
I mean, usually animals for like ritualistic purposes.
Okay, yeah, you're able to kind of tell, if something's been, disturbed anything or is nearby, and you do see that, kind of closer to the back where, like they would bring in the wagons to put in like what would you like the casks for to send them out to the taverns, like in that area. You do see that there's been a lot of foot traffic in that area.
All right, I'm gonna go over so they can just barely see me, and I'm gonna use the little light spell to make them look over here and motion them over.
Okay, and for you, Silas, you kind of look around in the. I'm assuming how are you kind of like looking around, Silas?
Silas is very much like an operative, so I imagine it wouldn't be so much. He would be like blending into, like looking kind of nonchalant as he goes around the edge of the building, not looking directly at the building, kind of just at the peripheral of his vision, sort of thing.
Okay. I'll say that from your peripheral vision, as you kind of look and you see, I would say, like this window here, you do see like very quickly like a shadow just kind of zooms by it. But you don't. That's all you really see. You just. It's like almost like out of the side of your eye.
Second floor and whatnot. Okay, I'm not going to be splitting the party here, so I'd be heading back to report there seems to be somebody on the second floor or something.
Okay.
But yeah, if Revere found an entrance, I'd follow. That seems more better than what I found, so we'd follow that.
Okay. And so you all.
And let Raphael lead the way.
Yep. Raphael will indeed lead the way with Ruvir as well. And as I said, you see this very large wooden doors that was used again for putting all their products onto like wagons and such. Raphael kind of like grips onto one of the handles, and he kind of like grunts a little bit, and he opens it up just a little bit. And Silas, you can see the heavy chain and padlock. If you would like to investigate the padlock, you totally can. If you want to see how it is.
Does it look like it's been used at all recently?
Well,
that's probably investigate. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah, exactly.
The dice don't like me today. Fine.
You kind of look at it, and you kind of examine it, and it takes you a little, like a tiny bit of time. But you're able to see that it is indeed oiled and it has seen recent use.
Okay, I'll try and pick it so we don't have to bust this thing and make a bunch of noise.
Okay. It is a DC 15 to break or to pick it.
God, if I fail this one, I really start getting annoyed.
Well, I mean, you do have icon dice. Oh my goodness.
Holy shit.
You do have an icon. So I am fine with you using that to kind of help you out in this situation if you wish.
Nah, Salas's dice have been turning against him too much tonight. He would be getting frustrated at this point, and he would step aside and ask Raphael to do his thing.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of...
We're going in hard and fast. Screw the stealthy route.
No, that's fine. Okay. Is... Mega, are you back or not yet? I think he's still BRB. So what I'm going to do is you're going to see... You'll see Raphael kind of pull out his sword, and just with like a quick, sound, he kind of cuts into the chain, and it cuts through it pretty well. Like, this is a heavy chain, but Raphael is a very heavy man with a very heavy sword, and it just cuts through it. But as it cuts through and it kind of hits the cobblestones, it clatters and makes quite a bit of noise, maybe more than you would. You kind of wince a little bit at the sound of it.
That was expected. And then gesture for him to boot the door in and let's go.
Okay, with that, Raphael will kind of kick in the door a little bit, and he'll start to go in.
I'm back.
Okay, hello. Raphael cut open the padlock and has gotten the door open to head inside. And as you all kind of go in bit by bit, let me find...
Just bad luck as a characteristic restraint of him.
Yeah. It's just like, the dice want to cause Silas some trouble today, which is fine. Sometimes the dice do that. I'm going to activate inside the brewery. As you all kind of go inside the brewery, you find this, that little bit of the extended way that they would put the casks. And you see a few kind of casks here and there that looked like they were just kind of left there after the old brewery kind of was shut down. In the brew room, which is which you would kind of go into there, you find it takes up more than half of this building, and it spans 2 floors. And there, kind of inside of that, you also saw 2 broken wagons that were collapsed. There were pulleys and winches. Like I would say, very stereotypical brewery kind of like layout. And there is, you see a few more little places that look like they would be like offices, but they look like no one's been in them for a while, like a good while.
Any signs in the dust at all, or like any steps or anything?
I would say as you kind of light a torch a little bit just to give yourself a little bit of, or would you light a torch? I'm not sure if you would or not. Or would you just use like your... No, go ahead, Ruger.
Not really dark vision in this, so I don't know if I can see or not.
No, but with like human eyes, they kind of adjust a little bit over time to kind of like see in the dark. But yeah, if you guys wanted to light up a little torch, you could.
I'll look at mask.
He's probably got magic for this, right?
Yeah. Like spell it is. I think I might not have put all the cantrips on my character sheet. Yeah, I did. Yes. I guess I'll just import this just to press it. I didn't want it to just lie around. I didn't want like 10 cantrips lying around. But
There's
yeah.
a lot, yeah.
Be nice if there was like a collapsible folder for your cantrips or something.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Here you go.
Okay. So yes, like you. Well, Mask. How do you activate your light cantrip?
I sort of like, snap my fingers a few times until some light appears, a ball of light appears in my hand. And then, I'm just like, here you go, light.
Okay, I like it. And yeah, the light, it's, fairly wide, consistent. It's, just like a soft kind of glow, and it kind of like covers all of you. Like, very much like a flashlight, I would say. Very much has that, like, consistency. And so, are you guys you're gonna look at the offices, or what are you guys
We're specifically going to look for any tracks and follow them if we could see them.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't really care if we're places they haven't been. We want places where they have been or where they are.
Okay. So as you are kind of like going through the ground floor of the old brewery, you kind of go through like a small drinking hall that had like a large table that's kind of it's seen better days, and there are a few kind of empty kegs that have been kind of set up, that were kind of like set up as like makeshift chairs, maybe for the workers. The drinking hall itself looks like it hasn't been touched. You do see like a little bit of like indication that people have kind of walked through there, but nothing like kind of touching the tables or like the kind of the keg chairs. As you as you move away from there, you do see another like a short corridor, and that you do find 3 offices. And one of these offices has a window that kind of overlooks the brewery, so you get the impression that this was probably like management's offices.
Okay. I'm gonna go to one side of the door and let Raphael kick it open.
All right.
Okay, you kick it open, and this office. I'm assuming it's the office overlooking the brew room.
Was that where the tracks were going? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, there's
Yeah.
essentially tracks going to. There's like 3 offices, and you do see that the tracks are going to all 3. The one.
I thought there was just one.
No, it's just the one that the one where the window is. That one, there seems to be more traffic there, but there's traffic to the 2 other ones as well.
I would still say we kick in the one with the window.
That's more than fine.
Just want to break down glass, eh?
I just don't want them to escape out the window.
So as you kick open the door, you see what you would normally see in like an office. So there's like a desk, there's a chair, there's a few, I would say, like almost like store boxes, and a few kind of places here and there that would contain like documents and inventory, inventory books, all that kind of stuff. Do you want to investigate the office?
Do I see anything that's moving at all?
No, it looks there is nobody inside it.
I say we move to the next one then.
Yeah.
If somebody's still here, we want to deal with them before they.
We can search more fully later, yeah.
Ah, fair enough.
We can use guards to read the paperwork.
Okay. And so you move to the second one.
Okay, this one we're not going to kick him. We're just going to open it.
It opens. it just kind of creaks a little bit, but not super loud. That one, that looks like sleeping quarters. Like you see like a few of the kind of the cask chairs were kind of like moved almost like a hammock. So very kind of rudimentary, kind of like sleeping place. And I'll tell you, you don't really need to investigate that. You can kind of tell from the way that the bedding is kind of put that someone slept in it pretty recently.
Does it look like they got out in a hurry?
No. It looks like they got up and they just.
But not like they heard us and took off.
No,
It's not bedtime right now, so I don't think that'd be the case.
Yeah, I would say like time wise, you guys kind of interviewed Rumney and like Pezarius. I would say that was like around lunchtime. It's like now I want to say it's close to evening again. So the sun's going down a little bit.
Okay, check the last office and then find some stairs to start going up if there's nothing else here.
Okay. So you check the last of the offices, and this office, it is a storeroom, and you see various, I would say various little boxes, and if you open them, you find they are containers with food and drink, and the food is again very rudimentary stuff, so like rations, there's like a few kind of like preserved like salted porks and things like that, stuff that would last you a while. And the same thing with like the drink. It's like the drink is like ale, but it's very, very, it's like grog, so very, very watered down to kind of like help you last it longer. And
yeah, very brief look, because we're looking for people, not the other stuff. We can always come back for stuff. We need to find the people we need to question still.
Indeed. So I wouldn't say like positioning wise, who would be like the person like closest to like the door of like
the door we just opened?
Yeah.
Probably Mask, I'm thinking. What do you guys say?
I think Raphael would be the closest because he's opening the doors, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Sure.
Or do you mean we're all inside the room?
I mean I think it's kind of big enough that two people could kind of get in it.
I'd be standing outside the doorway.
I'd probably be in it very quickly, searching very fast for signs of people, and then moving back out. So probably me would be in it.
Okay. Okay, so for the people that are kind of like not inside the office, or kind of like outside by the door, if I could get like a wisdom and like a background for kind of perceiving things or for hearing things.
Sweet, I'm bad at both of them. Yeah, I don't think anything applies, so let's roll wild wisdom. Maybe I'll get 19 or something. Wow, I really did. I really did get.
Rufir. I think for you, you just hear like kind of like the groaning of like these things, the things that they would like distill the drink, like the ale in. It kind of makes a little noise, and you kind of like
the stills.
Yeah, the stills. Yeah, sorry. It kind of groans a little bit just because like the brewery's kind of like settling and such. So like you hear that and you kind of like, you kind of jump a little bit. Mask, you hear the sound of footsteps kind of coming from this direction, and you hear like a voice, and the voice, it sounds like they're singing something sounds like a song, and it's just can't quite like describe the song, but it sounds, you know, the song 15 Tons, very very classic kind of like song about like hard labor and things like that.
I don't know that song.
Okay.
Neither.
I'll post a YouTube thing for it in the group chat. But essentially, the song itself, it's talking about, you know, working hard, like a man who's working hard for his labors. But he has a problem with, you know, drink, so he's constantly, he drinks the money that he makes from all the hard labor. And so he has to work harder to make more money, and then he just wastes the money on more drink. It's one of those types of songs.
Also depressing.
Yes. I mean, 15 Tons, I think, was written during the Great Depression, I think. So it would make sense. So, Mask, what do you do as you hear like footsteps and like the sound of like a song being kind of sung in that, like I said, this kind of area?
Is it coming in our direction?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I'll try to get the attention of the people inside the two of them inside the office searching, and say, like, guys, we got company. Which is probably not as expected in this supposedly deserted area.
Coming towards us or running away from us?
Towards you.
Okay, I'm gonna basically hide then very quickly.
Okay, I
See if
like
we can
it.
catch these guys off guard.
Okay, I like it. Okay, so yeah, so just kind of position yourselves on the map. I'm using my air quotes here for this thing. So kind of like, yeah, just kind of position yourselves how you guys would kind of hide.
I think Haas would dive into one of the other offices and kind of go behind the door.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, and then going to another office.
It's difficult to use this map because only half or like a third of it is the ground.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of hard to get like a. It's kind of hard. I guess I could have gotten like an actual brewery layout, but I think, you know, theater of the mind, at least for something like this, is fine.
As long as like there's some kind of solid, as long as there's some kind of solid object, and we are not just standing in the open.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
You know, we're using our imaginations. And so like the camera kind of focuses on like Silas as you're kind of gripping your daggers, like just waiting to strike. You know, Ruvir, you know, your hands on like your scythe. Mask, you know, you're kind of gripping your you have like a wand, right? Or what do you use for your spell casting?
For me, I guess it's a wand.
Okay, yeah, like you're kind of gripping it, and then Raphael, you know, your hands going, you know, to your sword, and you know, it's like the camera just kind of follows between all four of you, as like the stepping, you know, the stepping kind of slows and it kind of echoes, and again the camera kind of follows all three of you all four of you, zooming in, and right as let me find it. Right as, you know, you see like this, a shadow kind of come forth. You see this. You see this fellow kind of walking. And you hear that this is the person that was singing the song. And he kind of stops, and he kind of goes over to like this machine right here, and you hear him kind of like hiccups a bit, and he goes, "Ah, that there looks in mighty good order. Yep. Drelbin better get it looked at, though. Don't want to cause someone to fall in. That would be quite bad for this place. And he starts, again, just kind of begins walking. And he... Oh, that's what he does. He's kind of looking and inspecting things.
Can we see through him?
Yes, you can.
I'll give Raphael a little poke.
Yeah, this is your thing, buddy.
Zoinks gang, it's a ghost.
Who's the dog?
I don't know. I took Shaggy apparently.
I would say Tiberius is Scooby.
Right. So
I thought Raphael could summon an undead Scooby Doo.
Actually,
Yeah.
you're right.
in fact.
He does have a dog.
So what's the ghost doing?
It's checking the equipment here.
It's making sure that the brewery is still in good shape, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though you can kind of tell that, you know, a lot of the stuff's kind of rusted down and,
Right.
you know, kind of like not necessarily ill-repaired, but certainly has seen better days. But he's inspecting it as if, you know, as if it's still functioning.
I approach the ghost. Does it react in any way?
Let's see. As you kind of come up to him, he'll go, "Whoa, howdy, stranger. You a new employee of the brewery? You're much too..." He kind of looks at you like, "You're much too tall to be a dwarf, obviously, but maybe you got some of that dwarf blood in you, sir." We don't discriminate here at the Hammer Stout Brewery, which is what the brewery was called back in the day. The name's Welgar Drabspar. I'm one of the inspectors of the Hammer Stout. And he kind of floats. Well, I say floats, but he's walking, but he's just kind of like walking in the air, and he's kind of like walking around you here and there, kind of like inspecting you. He goes, strong arms, good constitution. I'm assuming you're here to help move all the casks. Am I right? We always need a good, strong muscle. What do you say, Raphael? Raphael is stunned in silence.
I am actually an inspector of the city. Would you care to give me a tour of the facilities?
I'm sorry, say it again? It cut out just a tiny bit.
I'm actually an inspector from the city. Would you care to give me a tour of the facilities? Just a routine check.
Okay.
Nothing to worry about.
Okay, I need you to roll me a charisma plus an appropriate background for that.
Well, just charisma. I don't think knightly virtues covers that.
Probably not. Probably not for fibbing. So yeah. Just go pure charisma. Ooh,
Pretty good.
very nice. He goes, huh, funny. I didn't think we were gonna have an inspection from the city. I mean, we've been cleaning up our acts. We only had 2 accidents last week, and they were minor at that. The boss mighty hates it when accidents happen. It causes too much problems for publicity. So they, been trying to. Well, if you're here, sir, then I'll certainly help you with that. And he kind of floats, and he begins kind of telling you about the different, kind of shows you the vats, and you kind of go up on the catwalk, and he kind of shows you all the things. As you're kind of speaking with Welgar, Raphael, you notice kind of along his neck, there is he's kind of like a grayish blue, obviously, as you can kind of see through him. The mark on his neck, it's kind of like a paler white, and you get the impression that's probably like the source of how he died. And as he's kind of talking, you see that he kind of stumbles a little bit and he kind of hiccups, so you can tell he's kind of a little intoxicated. That you can you kind of surmise that he probably fell and broke his neck. Now, what you do with that information is up to you. He still thinks that the factory is still functioning, and he's giving you a tour of the place.
Say, have you seen any suspicious figures anywhere near here?
Welgar goes, suspicious people, sir. I am losing his accent every time. But he's drunk, so it's okay. He goes, well, you see him kind of messing with his beard, but his hand, his ghostly hand just kind of goes through it because he can't even touch himself. Essentially, he goes, well, he kind of goes, actually, I think so. There's a few. It's he kind of points, and you see one of those one of the large stills. He goes, that shouldn't be there technically. It should be over here with the other ones because that there's for the Hammer Stout. That's we tend to, us here at the Hammer Stout Brewery, we pride ourselves upon our dwarven ales and liquors, so we like to keep them organized. So he kind of points and goes, that one over there, that is the Gilder Green liquors. Very, very nice. That's usually for the seasonals, the wintry seasons. We have over there he calls them Dragonfire, which is think like a fireball, so very spicy whiskey. Right. And then he kind of points to where the Hammer Stout ales would be, and he's there. You can see from the stills that there's three. There's one big one and then 3 small ones for each of them. You see that one of the small ones for the Hammer Stout ales is not with the others. It's kind of placed by itself. It's that. He goes, that shouldn't be there. That should be over there with them. I'm gonna have to get after. Rundy, that darn lazy about boy. Just because his daddy runs the place, he thinks he can just lollygag.
Yeah, so I'm coming out with the type. So, do you mind if I go take a look at that one still?
He goes, well, sure, sir. You're the inspector. I guess if you need me, holler for me. And he begins to kind of he goes back down, and he's just checking everything, and you see him go into the office that had the window, and you'll see him kind of like messing with stuff. He's like, "Who organized everything? Everything's no." And you literally just see him just moving documents or whatever kind of papers that are there.
When he's moving stuff, is it like displacing the dust, or is it just like moving the object specifically?
It's just moving the objects itself.
Okay, I didn't think he'd leave footprints. That didn't make any sense. So there's still somebody here. It's just he's aware of them, but he hasn't been able to do or attack them or anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go like inspect the one still he pointed out was.
Yeah, I think maybe they might be like making a potion in it or something.
Yeah.
Or storing bodies in it or something, I don't know.
Yeah, something. So yeah, I gotta go check out the one still that he mentioned was separate from the rest.
Okay. So you head on over.
I'm gonna go with them too.
Okay. You know, whoever heads over to it, you see this again. This very large, not very large, but well, I guess large by comparison to like you. This still is kind of there are like it's on a sort of like a tripod essentially. You know they would use like runic magics and such to kind of move them here and there, or they would use like they would use like dwarven manpower to kind of like push them and things like that. So it's quite heavy. So whoever moved it had to have either been very, very strong or had quite a bit of magic to them to move it.
Right. Or magic to enlist the help of something very, very strong.
Yeah. Also very true.
Leaning towards artificers, then, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
So we're leaning towards the artificers, then, aren't we? Because they'd have constructs to do that stuff for them.
Could be.
Could be.
So what
Yeah.
exactly are you kind of inspecting? Are you just inspecting like the thing in general, or?
I want to look inside of
Yeah, I
it,
want to look inside.
and if there's nothing inside of it, I want to move it. See if they moved it on top of something,
Okay.
like to block a passage.
Sure. It would be a strength check for that.
Is there anything inside first? Because
Yeah, I want to see if there's
I
anything
want to see
inside first.
You pull up the top, and there is nothing inside of it. It looks like basically the grains and all the mush that was made for the ales and stuff. That's just kind of caked onto like the actual metal of the still. But you don't see anything like anything else.
There you go. Try and move it, guys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're gonna try and move it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be a strength. If you want to assist him, it would just be like a double strength check if you guys want to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to move it too.
Okay, what about you, Silas and Mask? What are you two doing?
I'm gonna move a little bit down the hallway and just listen to see if I can hear anybody moving upstairs.
Okay, a 16 and an 18. That's not too bad. Not too bad. Ruvir, you kind of get to one side. Raphael, you get to the other side, and you both kind of like push, and you obviously make a kind of like squeaking sound as it's moved, and you move it just about enough that you do see what looks to be like a broken part of the floor. Like maybe like a part of the floor that had just been kind of like naturally fallen apart. But as you kind of look to each other and you go, that looks like a tunnel.
All right, I'm gonna climb down into the tunnel.
Okay.
I'd actually say I should move that back. We should check the second floor quick, and if nothing up there, then hit the tunnel.
Okay. I'll climb back out of the tunnel.
I don't think they're going to have an easy time moving that. Like, it took two of you guys kind of doing it, so if we block it off again, we can check it out after, is my thought.
All right, we move it back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then let's go scout out the second floor to see if anybody's actually here. If not, we'll follow the tunnel to wherever it goes.
Okay. You scout out the second floor, and the second floor is mostly just there to like help kind of inspect the stills. You know, you see a couple of kind of rotted like ingredient bags, so like your wheats and your barleys and all that stuff that's kind of been there like a very, very long time. It's just they're not usable. You see Welgar actually kind of like try to pick up one, and you see him kind of like sway a little bit with it. You know, and you hear him start singing a song. It's this one is a different. This one's a much happier kind of like song. This one's about a pretty dwarven woman with red hair, and singing about a man trying to woo her. And you know, sounds like a very kind of romantic song. And you'll see him kind of like ripping the ingredient bag and kind of like putting it into like the still, but obviously he's not actually physically moving it. He's, you know, he's moving the ghost version of it. But that's all like you really see of like the second floor. There's not really anything else there.
All right, I'll let. Sorry, guys. I wanted to make sure we didn't see anything. I'm guessing we saw Welgar though. Okay, I'll let them go and move that. Let's check out the tunnel. I'll quickly go check those papers and stuff to see if there's anything relevant for us.
Okay, with that one,
That's probably how they're moving the supplies in us through the tunnel, and they're stockpiling them here. So the papers will probably have something.
yeah, indeed, maybe so. Excuse me. Silas, as you go to the office to look for notes, give me either an intelligence or a wisdom for investigating, plus your appropriate background.
Better than it has been.
You go through a lot of documents. A lot of the documents are just, you know, normal kind of office stuff that was just like left there after the place went down, or you know, kind of went empty. You do find in as you're kind of like jostling stuff, another like a note falls down, and as you open it, it says, it's written these words. It says, "Ambrose, you did well with the cart. The attack achieved what we desired, though the fools who intervened reduced our expected output. Keep out of sight for now. When things calm down, come to the Dream Masters for the next delivery." And you just see the letter P, like, written with like a period.
Okay, I'll fold that up and go join the others and explain what I found and what it says.
Looks like we have a lad.
Indeed. And so, with that, do you brave down the tunnel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, with that, I will activate the scene, and you guys would come down here. I would say, like, tunnel-wise, it didn't take you very long to get through it. I would say it was not even 2 minutes. Very, very quick. And you see a very kind of dimly lit tunnel with the sound of kind of rushing waters, probably from, like, the oceans. And you see... some of the few lighted things, you can kind of see a place where there's ales and such things being produced, or were kind of stacked.
Thinking we head up here through that little office.
You're gonna go in here?
That's what my thought would be. What do you guys think?
Yeah, sounds good.
Sure.
Okay. You go to that door, and you try the lock, and it is locked.
We're gonna do this again, are we? All right. Just more than a 10, come on. Oh well, we'll try it.
No, an 18's not too bad. You kind of click with it. It takes a little bit. You kind of tell, again, Silas, that this is like a well-oiled lock. This is one that has,
It's been maintained.
It's been very well maintained. So you click and you kind of take it off and you open the door slowly and you go inside.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's a little small, but
It's cramped.
use your imagination. It's much bigger. It's much bigger in the reality. So
Inside.
well, I mean, honestly, everybody else could be just like watching the door, right? So Silas and whoever else kind of goes in, you see a desk, a chair. There is a stack of books, and this chair, and these books, they look very well maintained and they look recent.
I'm gonna grab the book and toss it to Mask. He's learned. He'll be able to scan it faster than I could.
Yeah.
Anything that looks like it could be anything like you said recent that might be writings or whatnot, grab those. Quick search of the desk, quick search of the shelves for anything.
Okay. A lot of the books on the shelves are mostly, I would say, like reading materials.
Now, as I say, if they're old or not relevant, don't touch them. But we're looking for the new stuff that
Yeah.
might have been wrote in recently. Yeah.
As you kind of go through the books and everything, you do find one book that's kind of recent, and it talks about the plight. Oh, I gotta look up the name of this thing. You look up. It says the plight of Dreamleaf.
That sounds relevant. Yeah.
I would say yes.
Is that a drug?
Silas, you do recall. In fact, I think probably all of you maybe have heard of it at one point, but Silas, you probably definitely would have know about it. That Dreamleaf, it's a type of narcotic. And it's kind of used very much like how it's kind of like this mixture of like melatonin and like what's it called? MDMT or whatever?
MDMA.
Yeah. Like it's kind of a mixture of those two things. Like it's
So you sleep really good and you see visions or whatever?
yes. Like, it basically makes you feel like you're in a dream. And sometimes the dreams are, like, very, very vivid, almost oracle-like in nature.
I'll flip that one open and go to whatever the last page with writing is on it and see what it says.
Mostly the writing, it mostly just kind of talks about, like, a history of, like, narcotics, of, like, the Empire, and, like, the Empire's attempts to crack down on them. And the very end, it talks about how excuse me. It talks about how Dreamleaf being this simple to make drug caused basically a lot of problems. That's basically, it seems like a very, like, short and dry just history of, like, drugs.
We'll slide that one away and look at it in more depth later.
Okay, what about you, Ruvir? What are you, Mask and Raphael? What are you three doing right now?
I'm gonna look under the table.
Okay. I'm going to just give Silas gave me the books, and I'm just gonna read through them, I guess.
Okay. Those books, they're a lot of them are like history documents or history books. So you see, like, again, like I said, the history of, like, narcotics and the Empire. You see, like, ones that are like the history of, like, history of distillery, how to do distillery stuff, that types of things. You see one that's, like, on the history of the, the three, magical schools of Elderland. So, but they're all very much, like, I would say you're very academic. They're very academic, like, books.
Do any of them suggest what, like, are any artifice related, or any of them illusion related, or anything like that?
No, all of them just look to be, like I said, just very general material.
So they're using the distillery stuff to distill drugs, I guess?
I'm guessing so, but I don't know what that has to do with the undead still. That's the part that was throwing me off.
I don't know, maybe there were no undead.
We saw the freaking undead and fought them.
Maybe they just drugged us. Or they were drug zombies, I don't know.
Yeah, they could be zombies after they were drugged, I don't know. I have no idea how fantasy drug works.
Okay, Mask is reading. What was everybody else doing?
Picking under the table, see if there's anything down there.
You simply see what looks to be like I would say like a small little bag, and you open it up and there's like quills and papers and things.
Okay. Alright, I will get out from under the table.
I will say, Ruvir, as you get out from under the table, you do see like this book right here. And as you kind of look at it, you can see that it's talking about, it basically talks about, like there's frames of time. So like midnight to 1 a.m. And then you see like 3 kegs. And then you see like the letter P next to them.
And the note from before had the letter P on it, right?
Yes.
I will put those things together and hand it to Silas.
Can I tell what this means or what it's trying to say here? This feels rogue candy.
I'm assuming it's a ledger.
Mm-hmm. Like you kind of look at it, and yeah, much like what Zen said, it's like it's a ledger of whoever this P person is, they're coming here and they're taking these casks of, you're assuming to be like dream leaf, that's being distilled in here, and they're using it for something. You're assuming, of course, obviously something narcotic related.
Maybe they're forcing people to be in nightmares. I don't know.
Possible.
I don't know if that does something for the Nightmare Lord or not.
We'll take the ledger. Does it say anything about where it goes or anything, or it's just signing and numbers essentially?
It's just signing and numbers. You do kind of look at the note that you had, and it talks about the Dream Masters Theater. So you kind of think about it for a minute. You go, that's probably where they're taking that, is this theater, where that could be.
Can I check what their output was yesterday?
Sure. You'll see that they're most of the ledger, it's like 3 kegs, 5 kegs. One time there was like 6 kegs. On the one the day before, it was 2 kegs.
The day of the attack was less? That's weird. Oh, it lowered the output. They did say that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Okay, that's odd though. Okay, well, no matter. Yeah, grab the book. I think that's worth holding on to.
Okay.
When there's nothing else, I'll start moving down the hall and start making my way to the next place. But I think Raphael hasn't done anything yet.
Okay, Raphael, what about you? As everyone else is kind of like investigating and Mask is reading these various books.
I move over here and sort of survey the area.
Okay. As you kind of survey the area, you do hear like the sound of like kind of creaking over here, like where these like barrels and stuff are. But it doesn't necessarily sound like someone's there. It just sounds like maybe the barrels themselves are kind of settling. But it does kind of like put you on edge, I would say.
Okay.
So if you want to like move your, would you be surveying it right here, or would you be surveying it over here, like over here?
Yeah, I think I'll look around more.
Okay, no, that's fine. Okay, Silas, Mask, and Ruvir, if you all want to move on, you guys can. Or Raphael, if you want to head with them too, you're free to do so as well.
No, we'll follow Raphael for the moment. There's lots to check here still, but
Yeah.
we should stick together.
Okay. So, as you all kind of get to here, you hear, again, like, as you're kind of talking about, what you found so far, you hear, excuse me, you hear a voice kind of speaking.
Oh,
Yes.
what's it say?
The voice is saying, the voice goes, well. I thought the rats that were scurrying up from the sewers were a problem. Now we have interlopers as well. But much like the rats, they can be dealt with quite easily. And
Oh,
you,
geez, somebody's doing a radio read up there.
indeed. It sounds like it sounds like you can't quite tell where it's coming from, but it sounds like it's coming from over in this direction.
For a second, I thought it was Three Dog from Fallout.
Man, I
All right, Raphael's gonna go kick down the door, so I'm gonna follow him. I assume.
There's no door over there.
There's no door, just what looks to be
No, up here.
steps. Oh, okay. So are you heading in there?
I'm gonna follow Raphael.
Okay. As you kind of go in, you'll hear a voice, another voice. This one, while the voice that was talking to you sounded much more kind of like snarky, the other one sounds much more kind of like dour. And he says, or the voice says, "You should not have come here, you fools. You will die for this and for your transgressions." And Raphael, as you all kind of begin to slowly begin to kind of come in, you hear, you begin to hear the sounds coming from over here, and over here. You let me grab the things for it real.
Do I recognize what this is?
Which one?
The sounds.
You do actually. They sound a little bit like kind of sounds, and you can hear like something scraping along like the stonework.
Okay. Yeah. Figured.
And you soon hear like a sound as something kind of breaks and kind of crawling out of these, I would say, kind of makeshift like hiding places.
Oh yeah, very, very chummy.
You see these creatures.
Well, he's just a sleepy little guy.
So you guys can see the artwork.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Nice.
Yes, like oof. The voice again, the very dour voice says, "You'll make good meals for the hungry beasts." And I think here I'm going to pause the scene here because the heat's getting really, really bad for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, my AC has been down for 2 days, and today it was 103 degrees throughout the whole day.
Jeez.
So yeah, like right now it's like 9:30 right now, and it's gone down to like 90 degrees. So I think I'm gonna pause it here.
Yeah.
Because I'll just say up front, this is going to be it's going to be a very rough combat.
Ooh, okay.
But I will say this. I'm going to let you guys get an incremental early because of it. So with that, as you know, these creatures, these undead creatures, kind of crawl out of these various holes, and you see like chains like on their throats. You all kind of like prepare yourselves, and that's when the session will kind of will fade to black there. And we'll return here. with that, Silas, Zure, what did you like, and what are you hoping to see next time?
I thought it was pretty good. A lot of investigative work. It's the red herrings that kind of threw us off a couple spots. We're getting a little frustrating at times, but I'm glad we finally got to where we got some definite hints that this is definitely where the issue is, at least.
Yeah, that is often a plight of investigative investigations in like stuff like this. It's always like a lot of twists and red herrings.
What a twist.
Next time, I really hope my dice are deciding to behave a little bit more.
Yeah, I hope so too. Zen, what did you like, and what do you want to see next time?
I really like this map for one thing.
Yep, that is from.
Maybe we should have hit some of it, but I really am excited for the rest of this little area.
I still do not know how to like get walls to work in Foundry. I have tried to like figure them out. I know that the person who makes these, they do have like Foundry made maps, but I don't think they've gotten around to doing this one yet, because this one's kind of recent. I might have to upgrade to like the $5 tier, I think, to get Foundry made maps. Might have to do that. I'll look into it next session. But what did you want to see next time?
Next time I want I don't know. I mean, I know what I want, but it's spoilers, so I don't want to say.
Okay.
Because you mentioned the character for my backstory, I think, but I didn't hear it. So.
Okay. Okay. With that, Nanoka, what did you like, and what do you want to see next time?
I like it when we found when I realized what the green door was supposed to be.
Yes. They were quite popular. Quite popular.
Lovely. Well, I guess I am looking forward to the reveal of Old Man Jenkins.
Ah, yes, indeed. And he would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for you, meddling adventurers and your skeleton dog. And finally, Mega, what did you like, and what do you want to see next time?
I enjoyed the moment talking with the ghost.
I'm
really
glad.
fun.
I like that. I thought that was I really like that as like, because it's an optional thing. It was an optional thing, but I was like, you know what? I think that would be fun to like have you guys like be prepared to like strike, and it's like literally just it's just a ghost. It's just like he's just being cool.
Yeah. And I'm looking forward to this rough fight.
It shouldn't be as rough as like the first combat was,
Right.
but it's I think it's gonna be a tiny bit of a challenge. But we'll see as you know the party is readying themselves for combat against these ghoulish monsters. Will they find out who were the voices speaking of their demise? What is going on in this part of the old brewery? And what does it have to do with the attack on Hawker's Square? We'll find out next time on